live from our broadcast hub in Douala. Without further ado, let's take a deep dive straight into tonight's headlines with Kijang Henry Atembe.
Militants of the Cameroonian Party for National Reconciliation are spitting verbal fire after their members were barred from participating in the National Youth Day parades on February 11 in some parts of the country. In the Yaoundé 6th district, administrative authorities justified the ban by citing ongoing leadership disputes within the party. The viral video of a food vendor urinating in a pot of soup intended for sale continues to raise questions regarding the safety of food Cameroonians consume outside of their homes. But with their relatively cheaper rates, do they really have a choice? And beyond Cameroon, the Kremlin has firmly rejected Ukraine's proposal for a land swap, calling the idea impossible. In a statement issued today, the spokesperson for the Russian government has made it clear that Russia will never discuss trading land within the context of any peace arrangements. From our studios in Douala, the 6:15 news rolls out in a second with anchorman Tarike Divine Ramsey Jr.
Thanks once again for your company, and let's kickstart this edition on a rather sad note, and that's because despite the widespread outcry over the ongoing violence against women, the situation only appears to get worse by the day. A family in Douala has not stopped mourning since the dusk of last week after a sister was killed, two of her friends injured, and the sum of 7 million francs stolen from them. Dean Maureen takes up the rest of that story.
The neighborhood, known for its notorious corridor of theft, has been plagued by frequent power outages, creating an environment conducive to crime. Residents live in fear of armed attacks, and the latest incident has only exacerbated the sense of insecurity. On Wednesday, a team of reporters visited the latest deadly incident in the neighborhood. Here is a crime scene, and we spoke to witnesses. The victim, Kenyi Menshaw Valerie, was fatally stabbed during the attack, which occurred around 9 p.m. on Friday.
It is not the first time this mobile money lady is being attacked. Lately, she was attacked in front of her gate, and now the second incident has happened. The woman who was killed here was having a drink where I am seated. When this woman who sells here closed, she requested that she waits for her. It was when they were going down that she was stabbed.
This area is a hotbed of crime, said one resident. The frequent power outages makes it easy for criminals to operate. We are living in fear, the residents cried out.
The neighborhood is not safe. There are many delinquents here and drug consumers in the neighborhood as well.
The attack has sent shockwaves through the Dogbong neighborhoods and beyond, with many calling for improved security measures and a reliable electricity supply. The authorities have been criticized for their slow response to the incidents, and residents are demanding justice for the victim and her family.
The incident happened around 11 p.m. That evening, there was power outage. It is reoccurring here. As we speak now, there is no electricity.
For now, the neighborhood remains gripped by fear and insecurity, with residents living in constant fear of armed attacks and crime.
And now, a widely shared video showing a roadside eatery owner urinating in a pot of soup she intended to reveal a complex picture, while affordability continues attracting many. Hygiene remains a big, big issue, as you tell us, Gladys Ambo Dibang.
Affordability is undeniably the primary draw. Many residents cite low cost as the main reason they choose roadside food stalls over more expensive restaurants.
What takes us to roadside food stall is the cost. The prices are usually affordable. When you lack the means, you are forced to eat where it is affordable. However, the food usually tastes good.
But cost isn't the only factor. Hygiene plays a crucial role in consumer choice.
When the store is clean and the vendor is physically clean too, it encourages you to buy food. But this doesn't guarantee that the food is healthy. We check the hygienic conditions of the eatery, ensuring it's clean. We also check if the vendor is clean. After eating, if it's good food, you might become a regular customer.
The long-standing popularity of food stores like Mama Sarah's, operating for 20 years in the Bali neighborhood in Douala, speaks to the trust some customers have developed.
I've been eating here for a long time. Her food is tasty, the environment is clean, including herself and her workers.
The
price is affordable, she cooks well and provides good customer service.
Mama Sarah's open-air cooking style, where she prepares foods in full view of her customers, is a key element of her success.
Ici, je prépare en plein air et les clients le voient. La cuisine est libre, disponible pour tout un chacun qui veut entrer, à tout moment, à toute heure.
The recent shocking video depicting unsanitary food preparation practices has sent cold sweat down the spines of many. The incident highlights the potential risks associated with consuming food from informal eateries, a significant source of sustenance for a large portion of the city's population. These popular Mami Put stalls, spread throughout streets in Douala, offer affordable meals, often the only option for those living on less than 1,000 francs CFA per day.
And so ever since the video went viral on the social media platforms, Cameroonians have been scratching their heads and raising eyebrows in contemplation. What could possibly motivate such behavior? And could there be any spiritual explanation behind such an act? Kejang Henry Atembe has been finding out, and here he files in.
A shocking video circulating on social media has exposed a roadside vendor in Yaoundé who allegedly urinated in a container and mixed it into a pot of soup. The disturbing footage, which has sparked widespread outrage, was reportedly recorded in one of Yaoundé's bustling neighborhoods and has raised concerns about public health and food safety. According to a spiritualist contacted in Douala, this act is linked to a ritualistic charm aimed at casting a spell on customers to boost sales. According to him, this is a form of black magic meant to attract customers and promote quick wealth. This shocking revelation has raised fears about the spread of communicable and strange diseases. It underscores a larger issue of food safety in the country, where regulatory oversight is limited, even in licensed restaurants where food is prepared behind closed doors. This incident may just be one example among many in a sector where consumers are often unaware of the conditions under which their food is prepared.
If you're just tuning in, remember you're watching the 6:15 p.m. news on Canal International, of course, broadcasting live from our production hub in Douala. Now, once upon a time, Cameroon's commercial hub, Douala, of course, used to glow with radiance. But over time, that picture has considerably changed. As we speak, recurrent power cuts keep plunging neighborhoods for days and sometimes long weeks. Residents say it is a situation that continues to severely negatively impact them, and much more so business owners across the city. Here once again is Gladys Ambon-Tibang.
The sounds of generators has become a defining feature of daily life in Douala, Cameroon. At this hairdressing salon, the owner battles to keep her business running with no reliable electricity supply. Has been
forced to rely on fuel-powered generator, an expensive and unsustainable solution.
To work, I have to turn on the generator. We can't get by without it. I spend at least 40,000 francs per month on fuel.
Other businesses reliant on electricity, such as this electronic repair shop, are struggling. Meeting deadlines is near impossible. Without power, operations grind to a halt.
It's very difficult with the power outages because our work depends entirely on electricity. When there is no power, we simply cannot function, and we don't have the money to buy generators.
Households are also bearing the brunt. With erratic electricity supply, refrigerators sit idle, food spoils, and essential appliances break down. Fans and air conditioning are almost useless, leaving families enduring the unbearable heat.
I have things in the freezer that have spoiled, and now even the freezer itself is damaged. The power cuts happen. Food spoils. We can no longer store anything in the refrigerator. We are forced to shop daily. It discourages us. I work hard to support my children, but now it's impossible because we are constantly without power. We don't understand anymore. The heat is unbearable. The children at home are suffering. Is this normal?
With no clear resolution in sight, Douala remains in limbo, caught between power cuts and mounting frustrations. Residents are left to adapt, improvising as best as they can while hoping for urgent intervention.
Now let's talk some politics, because as we speak, militants of the Cameroonian Party for National Reconciliation, abridged PCRN in French, are fuming with rage after their members were barred from participating in the National Day parades in some parts of the country on February the 11th. In some districts in Yaoundé, administrative authorities are citing the leadership disputes within the ranks of the party as a motivating factor for that decision. Hyacinth Chia reports from the capital.
Heavily mobilized to take part in the traditional Youth Day march past at the Soir ceremonial ground, the Cameroonian Party for National Reconciliation is discarded.
La notification ne nous a pas été servie.
We were never served a notification. It is 1 minute before the march past that we are told to leave the ceremonial ground.
Le lieu du défilé, c'est-à-dire que ce soit au point de départ comme au point d'arrivée.
An action not taken lightly by the militants of the opposition outfit, and in a struggle to get reasons for the refusal, the party's communication officer for the Mefanafamba division, Brice Ngono, is arrested and detained. He tried asking the GO and other organizers why we were denied the right to march. In the course of the lamentations, he got arrested. Important to note that he was talking peacefully with his hands on his head. They decried the ultimatum from some administrative authorities without any formal notification.
Côté de Hawaii,
it was a similar situation at Hawaii, where we were already stationed with our banners, but the GO ordered we should be kept aside. But the PCRN marched very well at Nkolafamba, so it seems like some heads are targeted. And in Swat, the PCRN was the lone opposition party, ready to march like the CPDM did.
D'opposition du côté de Swat, qui était prêt pour le défilé.
At the SWA's GO's office this Wednesday, February 12, to understand the motives behind the decision, the civil administrator says he is still gathering information on the subject. Meantime, leaving the field by 4 p.m., the young politicians were still roaming around the police station, waiting for the release of their comrade.
And so the 2025 edition of the National Youth Day has come and gone, but the echoes of President Biya's address to young people across the country continue resonating. The president used the occasion to prescribe self-employment as one way of combating idleness and joblessness, but how practical is self-employment under Cameroonian sky? Cynthia Latte went out finding for answers, and here she comes with her report.
In Cameroon, the difficulty in starting a business amongst youth is often linked to a lack of funds after training. Contextualizing knowledge and adapting to the professional demands of the environment is another contentious issue.
Les jeunes sont diplômés, il y a de l'emploi. Mais
Youth have certificates, but it is not enough to professionalize what has been learned. One must understand what professionalism means. These opportunities will arise.
Les opportunités se dessinent.
Self-employment in the country requires resilience. Youth harbor ambitions that persist despite limited resources. While self-employment is viable, support from the state is essential. Since we are considered young, they don't take us seriously. Yet we know what we want. It is not easy for us to find a job after our training. Also, companies seem to open their doors only to family members, which is challenging. Although it is difficult to succeed, a significant portion of youth is praised for their courage. The sentiment was echoed by the divisional officer of Douala 4, who presided over Youth Day activities in his subdivision. We have emphasized the theme that supports the moral and civic rearmament of our youth and want to express joy over the fact that they are becoming more confident. The majority of these young people seek their livelihood in the informal sector, which constitutes over 90% of the economic fabric, according to the National Institute of Statistics.
And we stay on the 2025 National Youth Day because it provided occasion for music legends Andre Marie Talla and Ben Deka to light up the Singamo now reports that the event celebrated talent, inclusion, and above all, self-esteem.
Youths living with disabilities, the visually impaired, mobility impaired, persons with crutches, on wheelchairs, the dumb and deaf, answered in their numbers for the Youth Day concert with renowned musical artists Talla Andre Marie and Ben Deka. The disability they portray is not a fatality. Even with their limitations, they can do a lot. Poem by these lower seat students on the theme Young Talents in Sewing, Woods like Craftworks were also exposed. Going home with some of their work on such a day, they say, is to push and encourage. High points of the day is when the musical icons took the stage. Talla Andre Marie. Then Ben Deka, who left the stage to meet the youths for a sweet playback. Moments to valorize the talents of these persons with disabilities, giving them joy and encouragement. Initiative by the SPC Entertainment with vision, construction of a cultural project, and production for artists and craftsmen with disabilities.
That his country is ready to do a territory swap with Ukraine as part of negotiations towards an end to the war there. He calls it impossible. In a statement rendered public today, Peskov rejected Ukraine has never discussed and White House. Our sincere apologies. Join us same time, same place tomorrow. Up next is the debrief. And at 1950, Michael Chipkio has another package of news for you in French. Stay safe and bye-bye.